Hi, welcome to the Johnny Gets Cash YouTube channel where I buy, fix and sell vehicles for profit. This is episode 6 in my series Chop to the Top, where I'm trading my way up from a cheap car to a supercar. If you're into cars and the fixing, cleaning and modifying of them, then you're in the right place because that's exactly what I do. If you're not already subscribed, why not consider doing so and use the bell icon to be kept up to date as and when new videos are released. So far, in the previous 2 parts to this episode, you've seen me working on my latest purchase, a 2009 Toyota Hilux. When the Hilux arrived, it was in a pretty horrible state, and as the cleanup progressed, more and more issues were revealed, leading up to a body-off chassis restoration in the last part. This Hilux deserves to be saved, so I found myself delving much deeper into the restoration than I first thought I'd have to. However, after a whole load of work, we now have a very solid and well sorted base vehicle, which means that in this part I can start to modify the Hilux and make it so much more than the dirty, abused farm vehicle that it used to be. So, enough from me, let's get to it. Right then, before the mods can start happening, it's time to clean off any remaining areas that I've been unable to get to so far. Because part of the transformation of this Hilux is going to include lifting it, it makes sense to take some measurements before I change anything. With those start point measurements taken, I'm preparing for the first stage, a full body lift, which means unbolting all body mounts before lifting the body from the chassis, inserting aluminium spacers and rebolting the body down with longer fixings. With the body now firmly reattached, let's take those measurements again and see what a difference it's made. Not a bad start, but I want more for this truck, so I got in touch with a specialist parts company called Brute Status, who've supplied me with a suspension lift kit consisting of shock spacers and extended leaf shackles. So let's see what these can do for the Hilux. To go with these new shackles and the refurbished shocks from the last episode, I'm also going to use these brand new bushes. Whilst getting ready to fit the spacers, I noticed that one of the Hilux's shocks was past its best. As well as that, both roll bar links were worn, so it makes sense to change these items now. If you're watching this and wondering why I haven't taken the time to refurbish the springs or the other shock, don't worry, this is just a test fit to see how the lift kit affects the truck. Both shocks will be coming out again soon for a little something extra. So that's the Brute Status lift kit fitted and looking great. It was really straightforward to work with and it does exactly what it says on the tin, so it gets a big thumbs up from me. If you want to check out Brute Status and their products, I'll include a link to their website in the description. The next stage is one that I've been looking forward to, refitting the restored and now solid tub and making this Hilux a pickup once again. After resting the tub on its own set of body lift spacers, it's tightened down and looking great. Now that this truck is sporting not one but two different types of lift kit, it has a whole lot of arch to fill. And what do we do with arches that need filling? Obviously it'd be rude not to fit some serious rubber. So here I have a set of 15-inch modular steel wheels wrapped in a set of 33-inch road legal mud tyres. Just what this truck needs to add some attitude to that new altitude. Once the truck is finished, I'll be sending it off to have a full four-wheel alignment and tracking done, as by lifting the suspension, it's inevitable that the geometry will have been altered, so this is a must. Next on the list is refitting the arch liners, as these need to be in place before the next big change can happen. In addition to the suspension lift kit you saw me fit earlier, Brute Status have also supplied me with a set of plastic overarches. Not only do these look amazing on the Hilux, they give me the extra width required to legally cover the new wider tyres, which keeps the MOT tester happy as well as helping the Hilux to look even more badass. First up is a test fit. These arches are designed to fit to the body using adhesive strip to save any drilling. However, as an extra measure, I'll be fixing into the existing arch mounts inside the Hilux's arch. To properly test fit these arches, I'll temporarily refit the front bumper, but that'll be coming off again to receive a few custom touches. With that test fit done and the bumper removed again, it's time to do something about those aged and cloudy headlights. The bumper is now finished and ready to be finally fitted, but can you tell what the custom touch is? Something else that this truck was in desperate need of was a full paint correction. That silver paint has seen over a decade of abuse and it deserves some attention. You guys have seen me machine polish cars many times before, so I won't bore you with the whole process, but I'll try and show the difference made in a 50-50 reflection shot. As well as the big stuff, I want to give this Hilux a few subtle details to help it stand out from the crowd. One of these is a custom painted front grille, a small detail that makes a big difference. In the same spirit, I've also painted the rear valance in satin black, which helps to visually raise the back end of the truck and make it a little different from the others. More small details now. The rear light lenses were also a little tired and sporting their fair share of scratches and marks, so I chose to wet flat and polish them to restore some of their missing luster. Now it's time to finally fit those wheel arches. As I mentioned before, these are designed to be fitted using adhesive strips, so the bolts you see are purely for appearance's sake. In addition to the adhesive strips, I'll be using hardware fixings on the underside of the arch, just to be ultra safe. Whilst test fitting the front arches, it became clear that if I wanted to run the 33-inch tyres, something would need to give. So it's goodbye to the lower corners of the front bumper, which will allow me to run the arches and still give the new tyres clearance. The arches will cover this cut, so I'm not too worried about cutting up my newly refurbished bumper. Plus, I really want to run these 33s. With the Hilux now coming together so well, there was one item left on the underside letting the team down, the bash guard. This rusty, bent and damaged unit is removed and replaced with a much sturdier powder coated aftermarket item. Back up top, it's time to add a little bit of bling to the Hilux with this chrome show roll bar. Moving inside now, it's at last time to refit the newly cleaned interior. Long gone are the bullets and ground in mud. This Hilux probably hasn't been this clean for years. Earlier, when I said that the shocks were going to be removed again, this is what I meant.
After that initial fit up of the suspension lift kit, I removed the front suspension one more time in order to send both shocks away to be extended by 2 inches ahead of a refurb. This gives the Hilux a much more even stance and offers that extra bit of clearance for the 33s, meaning this truck can be used as intended without fear of damaging the body or tyres when at full lock on uneven terrain. One more small detail I wanted to add was this JDM style square number plate. Again, this is just a small thing, but I think it really changes the look of the front end. Next up is to give the Hilux a little more shine. To do this, I'm wiring in a set of 4 roll bar mounted spotlights, complete with brush guards. Not only do these help with nighttime visibility, but they also look amazing. So then, now that the Hilux is nearing completion, it's time for one last measure up to see how much height we've gained throughout this modification process. So here it is, the finished product. It's fair to say that this Hilux has dealt me some pretty heavy blows during its restoration, with hidden issues, previous bodge jobs and just general bad luck. But looking at it now, I can honestly say I forgive all of it. This truck has been completely gone through, and I like to think it offers so much more than any other Hilux its age. I started this Hilux with a budget of £6,500, and despite the many surprise issues, I managed to only go over budget by around £400. Now of course, right now the Hilux hasn't sold, so I don't yet know what my exact budget for the next vehicle will be. However, as always, I'll update you with my budget in the next episode. It's no secret that I fall a little bit in love with every vehicle I work on, but this one is really something special. It's taken a lot of restraint to stop me from keeping this one for myself, but this is chopped to the top and she needs to go to a new home so that I can move on to the next bigger and better project. And that is where I need your help. What do you think the next project should be? Let me know in the comments as I read all of them and I appreciate your feedback.
Right then guys, that's it. As you've seen, the Hilux is finished. I couldn't be happier with how this one's turned out, and although it's been an absolute uphill struggle at times, I think the Hilux is now genuinely one of the best looking and well sorted examples available. If you've enjoyed the series so far and want to see more, including what I buy next, make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on. As always, thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.